it kind of like resets the crowd. Like people like know that it's like, oh, okay, like it's normally when people start fucking clapping.
This is actually something I have trouble with. You guys give me your feedback on this. When I'm preparing sets, playing sets, whatever, most of the music that I like, not all the time, but most of it is like pretty high energy for the drops, I'd say. You know, sometimes there's like a wonky trap thing or just whatever, but generally I like excitement. That's like the MO of most of my music. Yeah, like in a lot of sets, sometimes you have like small breaks where there's like maybe a chiller song or just a breakdown or there's more space. But I only can ever really fit like maybe one or two of those into a 60-minute set. Like I like some deep dubstep or like, you know, maybe Caspa type stuff, which is usually like slower and swelling. And I really like some of his songs. And this isn't just Caspa, but just like the slower deep dubstep genre in general. I cannot figure out like how to go from every time because everything else is so high energy, whenever that happens, like I just feel like it kills the mood, even though I know it's not because people are still dancing. And sometimes there's whole sets of that people like, but in my brain, it's like weird when the energy calms down.
Yeah. One thing that I have found helpful when like transitioning between like sections of your set where there's a very different energy. Maybe it's going from high to low or low to high.
Mm-hmm.
But just, you know, whatever it is, it's very separate from what you were already playing. Like pick a song like that has enough of like kind of a like an ambient intro that you can like just reverb and like dub echo out the song that you're transitioning out of.
Yeah.
And make like a big wash of like reverb and echo and then like filter the next one in under it. And
Yeah.
it kind of like resets the crowd. Like people like know that it's like, oh, okay, like it's normally when people start fucking clapping. They're like you can feel like the room like resetting and like people's instant like reaction like letting everything dissipate is to clap for some reason. I don't know why, but it does happen. And like just having that like kind of smooth horizontal transition into whatever you're doing next,
Yeah.
to kind of make them forget about whatever you were doing before, and you can kind of then just go into whatever else. Like,
well, let me ask you a question then, because what you described, I try and do during those like huge moments where it's like, okay, let's chill for a second. Yeah. If you do that, I like some DJs who, you know, fans seem to really like, do like basically they'll play a song, you know, maybe not wash it out, but it'll have like a real chill outro into a real chill intro. It's basically like stop and go constantly. If I do like that one, let's say I'm going from like 174 down to 150 with like washout, so no sync or anything, and it's just like, okay, totally new thing. If I do that right after that song again, I'm just like, oh no, we need to like pick it up again. I feel like I can only get away with doing that maybe once or twice.
It's true. You don't want to do that a whole bunch, but you should like, you know, like kind of think of your chunks of your set. Like I like to play, like if I'm gonna play like a mid-tempo song, I'm gonna play 3 mid-tempo songs.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna play like a 140 like old school Caspa type thing. I'm gonna play 3 of those. So anytime I like switch the vibe into something new, I'm gonna play 3 of that vibe at a minimum, so that people are like, oh yeah, okay, this is the thing that we're doing, and
right.
Like this is the, you know, then you could switch it into another thing. And I feel like the transition where you do like the long horizontal fade out, like, yeah, you definitely have like 2 or 3 of those max in an hour that you can get away with. But it does work. Like I went from, I swear it was like pendulum, like 174 reverb washout into like 9 Inch Nails Closer.
Yeah.
When we were in Symes, Luke.
Yeah.
And people were loving it. They were like, ooh, okay, we're getting weird now. And I just like went into some mid-tempo stuff, and
Do you guys know the song Dope Pull Up? It's by the artist Dope, and it's called Pull Up. That's like one of my go-to. I don't even have to wash out the song before it. It has like such a chill intro. Then it like abruptly stops and just like a huge sub comes in, but it's like a heavy, slow song. That song is great for that. But I just don't want to use that song in every set.
Yeah, totally.
With all these new live sets, Electric Hawk, just anywhere online, I'm just like, man, I need to download more music. I don't want to be like reusing the stuff, even though I basically just play my favorite songs. I care who I'm playing to, but for the most part, I'm just like, do I like this song? Yes or no? We're playing that song.
I definitely share the same philosophy. Like if I don't love the song, if I wouldn't consider it like a favorite, I'm probably not going to play it. Like that's kind of like the philosophy of like no filler.
Yeah.
I totally stand behind that. Like I would rather have a less variety of music in my sets that I fucking love.
Yeah.
Than start to grab filler tracks just because it, came out on Beatport a week ago or whatever.
Yeah. Oh,
well, speaking of which,
sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. I think we got a bit of lag here.
Zoom
I was just going to say that's really what we are as DJs, right? It's like the tastemakers and the vibe setters of the night. That's why people come out to see UHNK. That's why people come out to see Rip Kenny or Trap Jesus. It's for your taste in music, not because you can press play and mix out the low end.
Yeah, my taste in music is gotta go fast and hard is what I'm trying to bring to every set.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and set up some type of down tempo set at some point just so people can hear what that might sound like, because I don't think anybody has any idea what kind of chill music I actually like.
What chill music do you like?
I mean, it could be anything. And some people might be like, dude, that's not chill music. But like, I consider, for example, a lot of Pendulum songs, maybe not chill like a 90 BPM song would be, but chill in the sense that it's like pretty sounds and it's not meant to go hard. Yeah, it might be fast, but it's like, it's meant to like groove to instead of like headbang to. I consider that like chill. I don't know. Glass Animals, Gooey. I found out about them. This is going to sound so hipster. I found out about them way before they got famous, and that song in particular. And then all of a sudden I started hearing it on the radio and I was like, what is going on? Like that song, I still play that song sometimes in my sets as one of like the chill songs. Yeah. You throw some, what's this called? Spiral on it. And you just like play with it as the song plays. It's fucking amazing. Like if you were, out of it, you're just like, where am I? It's so beautiful in here.
Well, that's the funny part about being early on something is that like you're fucked either way, because
you are 100%.
Like you can't tell people that you were early on it afterwards without them being like, oh yeah, sure you were, even though you're like, dude, I was though, like, god damn it.
Exactly. And now if I play that song in a set, most people probably won't care, but somebody's gonna be like, oh, he played Gooey, that's a popular song, and it's like, I knew about it before, sue me.
You just fucked with that.
That's one of those funny things though, is like thinking about people hating on us for picking the obvious choice, but like we've talked about this on the podcast before. Is that anybody else than other DJ nerds that get mad that you played a song they knew? Because in my experience, when I press play on like Bass Nectar or Skrillex at a bass show, people lose their shit.
Yeah.
When I press play on an unknown to the crowd artist, they may or may not lose their shit, but like they love it extra when they know that track.
Yeah,
especially if they're hearing it a different way.
There's something to say about that. I agree with what you said. It's just I think you need to do it sparingly. Like, yeah, everyone's gonna go crazy for the Bass Nectar track. I try and never have more than one, or I'll play one of his songs that I've like bootlegged to death.
Yeah.
Because then it's like it's my Bass Nectar song,
Yeah.
Yeah, like dude, if you've ever sat down and just tried to mix Bass Nectar to Bass Nectar to Bass Nectar for like 2 hours, it's insanely easy. All the songs just like go with each other. You can just do whatever you want.
Well, I think that's a really important distinction. I mean, like, for instance, like, if you include a tasteful amount of stuff that people know and or classics, like, it elevates your set to the next level. For instance, the year that Rez played at Shambhala, and that was like it was kind of heralded as the set that like blew her up or whatever. Like that was like her real jumping off point. From then on, she was like skyrocketing. But like the thing that she did in that set was like play music that I already knew, that next to the other music that she was playing that was hers, that was new, like very different. Like it brought new context to this other music that I already knew, that I was like, holy fuck. Like she played like Truth by Pretty Lights, like, and Bass Head by like, who's that by? Like
Bass Nectar.
And Bass Nectar, yeah. And like those are tunes that you've heard a fuck ton of times, but like she picked like very intentionally songs that had like just slightly similar textures of sounds like before or after, and it just completely changed like the perception of that song. Like if you just throw that in randomly, it's like, oh cool, but like the fact that it was so intentionally done just made the whole thing like a whole nother level better.
100%. On that topic, so okay, what we were just talking about was like sprinkling in classics, known songs, maybe like faster, slower, heavier. It's like a good variety. Yeah. I think is what makes a good set. Another thing that I pay like an insane amount of attention to, that I think people understand or pay attention to, or maybe not, and it's not just, I guess it's mainly vocals, but like you tell a story through the music. But if you like listen to a set of mine beginning to end and you like try and pay attention, I want to know how many people understand what I'm trying to tell them. I'm not trying to like brainwash them or anything crazy, but like there is definite, maybe not for every song, but there are definite messages like most of the way through the set.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like an example. I play this one song by Mr. Traumatic all the time. It's called Brainwash. He's like, oh, you're all brainwashed, da da da. Love playing that song because it's like really blunt, and nobody knows what that is or that song is for the most part, and everyone is just like, oh, what does it mean? And then you just go into like whatever you want afterward. It's really fun. Like some people, I don't know how to describe this. My song Witch Doctor or Chasing Status. What the hell is the song called? Hang on one second. Let me look this up. It's called No Problem by Chasing Status. It's got like this Jamaican voice and like toms, and he's supposed to be like a witch doctor guy. At least for me, when I'm at a show, a lot of the times, if I'm under the influence of whatever, I have like really weird thoughts that are kind of going all directions. And when there's like a kind of creepy or not creepy voice that's like telling you things, I like enjoy thinking about all of the crazy shit. And I try and like incorporate that into my set so that if somebody were in the back sitting in the corner, like what the fuck is going on, they could like, I'm like guiding them through their trip or whatever in like a, like, all right, let's get a little uncomfortable. All right, let's chill out and get happy now. All right, let's get more uncomfortable.
Yeah, you are an EDM shaman in that sense.
Yeah, no, that's 100% how I think about it. It's just weird to say it out loud because like some people might misconstrue that as like, I don't know, something negative or malicious, but it's meant to be fun. The whole goal is meant to be fun.
It's subversive in a good way. Like it's not malicious. It's like for the purpose of like having a good time, like for making something memorable for people, you know?
That Chasing Status song, he's banging on the bongos and he's like, it's no problem for me, but it's a problem for you. And then it just like,
I could see someone tripping out to that for sure. I think even from a writing perspective, an analogy I always use is like, think of each song as an auditory trip. And the way you're mixing elements or the way you're introducing elements or whatever, you are the audio shaman to that listener. And for example, if you have too many elements going on at the same time, well, think about if your listener was tripping. It's like too many voices going on at one time. It's like kind of schizophrenic. They're going to freak out. So like solidifying your mix to the nugget, as like Seth Drake will call it, make sure that the message comes across loud and clear. And also, as you were saying, Alex, is like, even if people don't get it, when you just have an idea in your mind of what themes or messages or whatever you want to include, it sets this sort of direction and cohesiveness to the whole experience that even if people don't get it, they can tell that there's this underlying thing. And I think that adds a lot of depth when people are experiencing it.
Yeah, 100%. On that topic, you can also do all of this with your visuals, which is what I've been experimenting with like a ton in the last few months. Like for me, going to a show is 100% visual and audio. It like, I love the music obviously, but if there's no visuals, I mean, I'll still dance, but I'm like, I like thinking about what's on the screen while I'm listening to the music.
Yeah.
100%. I think too, if you've had a trip, you come to that point, you know, for some people it's different times or whatever, but it's like you realize everything is just patterns embedded in patterns embedded in patterns. And like that's, you know, you can pull the same analogies when you're writing to putting together a set, to putting together the visuals, to putting together the lineup. It's like all of these concepts can be applied to like you writing like a little 2-bar section to your whole entire live set, to the whole night.
I like it.